Parker MMA dropped the Parker Cage Hero, and he has changed his social media handles. Ian Parker, the Duck, now joins us live. Have you sent TJ a coffee cake to thank him for branding you the Duck? Because this thing has really taken off.
You know what? I will say, out of all the interruptions I received, it's come. The birth of the Duck has happened. TJ, kudos for you for that one. There was even an art piece done of me. I couldn't believe it, saying the Duck on it. So this is pretty wild, but I'm gonna roll with it. It's pretty funny. I over one little interruption. I love it. It's great.
All right, so Dana White tweeted Sunday night that he is going to announce the full card for UFC 249 today being Monday, but as we sit here, that fight card is not out yet. So we had this exercise planned, and I think it's a good one. So we're going to do a fantasy draft, snake style, for the 4 fight cards and 47 total fights from March 21st through April 18th. So we're each going to draft a 5-fight main card from that group of 47. Then the draft is going to snake. So Ian Parker's going to pick first in round 2, but then KENFLO'S going to get back-to-back picks at 3 and 4. And then after the fact, of course, we're going to let all of you fine people out there decide on YouTube who drafted the best main card, and on Instagram at ANIK Pod. All right, Ian Parker, our randomly generated draft order gave you the number 1 pick. I think a lot of people expect which way you'll go here. You're on the clock. What is the first pick for you?
Team Parker selects Tony Ferguson versus Habib. And ladies and gentlemen, I just won the whole league. Thank you very much.
So it's one of those years, I think, for this exercise. Yeah, we're in that number 1 slot. Pretty obvious choice for you. So for the second slot, right, for my pick here, you guys know how much I love Leon Edwards and Tyron Woodley in that main event and wanted to go in that direction. But when Francis Ngannou is on the board and you are on the clock, it's the only way to go. He is the scariest man on planet Earth right now. I think he easily could be the best heavyweight in the world right now with respect to Stipe and DC and Curtis Blades and everybody else. And, of course, his opponent, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. But that was supposed to be the main event in Columbus, Ohio, March 28th. Francis Ngannou, Jairzinho Rozenstruik is my main event. And my pick in round 1, KENFLO, you're on the clock.
Dang it. All right. Well done, boys. Well, I will take so I get 3rd and 4th. Is that correct?
You get 2 straight.
I get 2 picks. All right. I am going to go with the Tyron Woodley versus Leon Edwards pick, since you took my Ngannou pick there, Anik. Listen, that's a fight that I was really excited to watch. 2 technical welterweights going at it, a former champion, Tyron Woodley, and a guy who could be the champion, Leon Edwards. Unfortunate that wasn't able to get done, but that's the fight I would like to see. The other one I would like to see is the rematch between Jessica Andrade and Rose Namajunas. Yeah, nice try there, Ian. That's a fight I'd really like to see get run back. So those are my 2 picks.
And so the advantage of being in that last slot, right, is that you get a main and a co-main. I think those were probably the top 4 fights on all of our depth charts.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that comes back to me in round 2, and this will be my co-main event. And this is not a Boston bias here, guys. We're going with Calvin Kattar and Jeremy Lil Heathen Stevens in the featherweight division. Bulletproof matchmaking here. Certainly 2 guys who are entrenched near the top of the featherweight division. Interesting that for Jeremy Stevens, this winless streak is now 4 fights. You had Jose Aldo, Zabit Magomed Sharipov, and then the back-to-back fights against Yair Rodriguez. On the other side, Kattar, also a loss to Zabit, but that was in Moscow, and there was a lot of good in there. Tremendous fight, high-stakes fight in the featherweight division, and that will be my co-main event, which brings us back to Ian Parker with his selection in round 2.
I've done a lot of fantasy football drafts in my life. This one, come after this pick, is going to be very challenging because we are going to probably offend a lot of people. And here we go. I think the last one that could possibly even be co-main event material is going to be Walt Harris versus Alistair Overeem. I think you go heavyweight, you want knockouts. I like that as my co-main. So I'm going to go there. And then, this one's tough. There's a couple other bangers out there. I'm going to go Edmund Shabazian versus Derek Brunson, because I think Shabazian versus Stylebender is the fight we're all going to see in the future, and that's going to be, I know, Kenny, you were licking your chops. I didn't get you back for that Thug Rose fight, so that's where I'm going with that one.
That throws me for a little bit of a loop. Edmund Shabazian, that I've said, I think right now is ready to compete with Adesanya and all the guys at the top at 85. He's only 21 years old and certainly will get a good challenge in Derek Brunson. Interesting, 11 UFC wins, by the way, for Derek Brunson. Edmund Shabazian, 11-0 as a pro in mixed martial arts. All right, round 3 for me. we need some female flair on this Anik fight card. So I'm going to go with Carla Esparza and the karate hottie Michelle Waterson. The karate hottie's bringing in the eyeballs. Carla Esparza, sneaky 2-0 in 2019. So that put her back in strawweight contention. Karate hottie, she's won 3 in a row, or actually she lost to Joanna in October. So had won 3 in a row before that main event, lost to Joanna, but still 2 super relevant strawweights in the division that I think has as much depth as any, certainly in the women's game. So Carla Esparza and Michelle Waterson will be a featured bout for me, which brings us to Ken Flo for his round 3 selection.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to go with Uriah Hall versus Ronaldo Jacare Souza. I mean, just from what's left, I think that's the best fight on here. I love watching Jacare fight. Obviously, I'm a jiu-jitsu fan, and he's as good as it gets in that regard. And, yeah, let's do that one.
All right, so round 4 begins with you as well, Ken Flo. So a real opportunity to make some hay here. What's the next fight off the board, kid?
Oh, man. Well, I'm kind of caught between a couple of them. Jeez.
Yeah, I told you this shit's gonna get tough. We're gonna have to do an undercard, prelims. We're gonna have to do a fight pass. This is not easy.
Well, the thing is that it's only 15 fights total, right? So basically, if you're prepping for this thing, you just got to come up with 15 fights. I'm hoping that you're not going to steal my thunder here. Who you got, Flo?
Well, let's go with Lyman Good versus Bilal Muhammad.
It's a good fight right there.
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. Two welterweights that I think will always deliver good fights. So let's do that one.
All right. So I still got some fights on the board here. Coming up on my 4th main card fight. Oh, I hate to leave Matthew Immortal Brown on the board, but I think it might just be a little bit too early. Oh, you know what? I got to do it. With respect to my man Nico Price, I got to go Greg Hardy and Yorgan De Castro, right? I believe in Greg Hardy. I believe in Yorgan De Castro. I believe in having a heavyweight fight on pay-per-view. So for me in round 4, Greg Hardy, Yorgan De Castro in the UFC's heavyweight division. Ian Parker, your mic is hot.
Well, we're trying to put on the best, most exciting fight card here, right? So to me, that screams Nico Price. 100% of the way. I mean, number one, he's just a man, and if he gets one more upkick KO, he just has to go into the Hall of Fame, even if he never fights again. So I'm going to take Nico versus Muslim in that one. And I'm debating here because I want to go lead off with a heavyweight death fight, which is either going to be Ben Rothwell versus Gian Villante, because no one's making that past 3 minutes in that fight, and that's exciting. Right. Or do I go Rafael Assunção versus Cody Garbrandt in what should be this is tough.
Assunção Garbrandt is not eligible. It is Assunção versus TBD. Cody sent the spreadsheet, not me. That fight's been off the board. Garbrandt's been out for a while.
2 weeks. Kidneys. That's the same thing as Lyman Good not fighting against Bilal Muhammad due to injury. What kind of? Can we get Cody Merrow on the line here? He's supposed to be our updating newswire guy. What is this? All right. So if that's off the board, I really wanted to get a women's fight on here, but in all due respect, I don't see any of them ready for the main card yet, although I do like Molly McCann. She's exciting. Got to love the meatball. Right at the same time, right? That was good. And I would love to give Kama Worthy some love, but I just don't see that as a main card yet. So, man, told you it's going to get hard. All right, fuck it. Ben Rothwell versus Gian Villante. Loser dies. That's just pretty much what's going to happen to lead off the main card. So, all right, Villante going to heavyweight. Woo.
Versus Villante rounds out your main card. And, of course, we'll check back with our chief marketing officer, Cody Merrow. And if he thinks that Assunção and Garbrandt can be had, then that'll be your main card opener. And, man, that'll put you in prime position. I mean, I'm looking at your card. It's pretty strong already. All right, 2 more picks to go. This will be my main card opener. I still think there's a lot of meat on the bone here. I mentioned Matthew Immortal Brown. You got a fight between Cheeto Vera and Eddie Wineland, Laureano Starpoli and Chaos Williams. But for me, Ken Flo, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. Davi Hamosh has won 4 of 5. You got a couple of Islam Makhachev victims here, taking on Arman Sarukyan, who's 14-2, really talented 23-year-old. It was going to either be Matt Brown against Caramel Thunder, Miguel Baeza, who's undefeated, or it was going to be Hamosh and Sarukyan. I got to go Hamosh Sarukyan, which leaves Ken Flo with Mr. Irrelevant, so to speak, your 5th and final selection.
Here we go. So no one has taken Sam Alvey versus Khalil Roundtree. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'll go with those guys. Listen, I don't think there's any way that those guys get out of that fight without getting one of them getting knocked out. I mean, both those guys are always looking to hunt the head and look to take the other guy out. So I'm going to go with that one.
All right. So the fights that we left on the board, these are probably
Cheeto Vera
20
versus Eddie Wineland's a big one to leave off.
Yeah, Cheeto versus Eddie. Obviously, I mentioned Matt Brown against Miguel Baeza. Vicente Luque against Randy Brown. I also had highlighted.
Yeah.
All right, pretty good job there. So we will compile those 5 fight cards and put them up on social media, and you guys can give your suggestions as to who you think put together the best 5 fight main card.